Hi, welcome to Point Made. And what does Frankenstein and CNN calling out Parler have in common? They have become monsters of their own creations. But first,
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Frankenstein, Halloween was last month. Well, here we're going to bring it up again. So what I need you guys to do is subscribe to our videos so we can start doing some content that you guys might want to hear. So start doing some comments too. Looking forward to it.
Yes, we're both on YouTube and Rumble, and you can follow us on Parler. And talking about Parler, today, it's November 14th, 2020. We're past the trick-or-treating season, but it keeps on giving. CNN called out Parler. Can you go a little more into that, Josh?
Nah. And more into their own echo chambers, more and more into their own bubbles, especially Trump voters. There's this new social media app called Parler getting a lot of attention because conservatives are saying they're leaving Twitter and Facebook, going off to Parler because they believe Parler is a safer space for them. What we're seeing is even more of a bunker mentality in right-wing media, and ultimately that's not good for the country.
No, it's not good. It's a threat to democracy that these people are in echo chambers and they're getting fed a diet of lies, essentially. Brian Stelter.
That's what it is. Thanks.
Yep. Brian Stelter, thank you so much. Well, the coronavirus vaccine could be on the verge of becoming...
Basically, Graham Allen, I actually follow him on Instagram and Facebook and things like that. So shout out to Graham Allen. But I first was brought aware of this, but by him. Basically, that CNN was basically saying that conservatives were leaving Twitter and more of the mainstream social media sites and going to Parler. And they were saying that was like a detriment to our democracy and our republic because we were leaving and going to what they considered like a more closed space just for our ideologues. And I thought that was just ridiculous. Like they're targeting specifically Parler.
Yeah, and conservatives in general. So we're actually part of the Twexit, I guess. Not really. We started our social media site on Parler, and it's been kind to us. So shout out to you guys.
I never liked Twitter. Everyone's on there trying to get freaking Hugh Jackman's attention or whatever celebrity's attention by tweeting at him or whatever. I mean, get some perspective, people.
Yeah, it's become accessible. Much like CNN. So that brings me up to my initial bullet point. What does Frankenstein and CNN have in common? Well, as much as Frankenstein, written by Mary Shelley, is a tale about Victor Frankenstein's failings as a human being, not so much about his creature, though movies have made it about his creature, CNN has failed as a network. Would you ever listen to CNN?
I mean, I don't know who does. Apparently their ratings are in the garbage, so apparently no one does.
I mean, God, the fact
when I watch CNN and I see, Cuomo in there with a giant freaking Q-tip because his brother's on there, or I hear Don Lemon saying, I'm going to cry because finally we got rid of orange bad man who's orange and bad in a man, which I do like. I what's up?
Van Jones bad.
It was so ridiculous. He was basically in tears because Donald Trump lost the election. Like it was that big a deal. Here's the reality. CNN, the reason why they hated Trump so much for so long is because they were wrong. They got it wrong when Trump won, and it made them so mad that they just started to go after him from the beginning, and then when he wasn't having it, it made him more mad. Like when the kid gets picked on in school, starts standing up for himself, that made CNN mad. Like, how dare you question your betters?
Yeah, and I find this as the situation that Ty...
As he pulls his hand out of his pants to go for someone's nose. Don Lemon.
I think CNN has created a monster or become one. And that's why I find it calling out Parler so comical. I think that it's in the death throes. I think all of mainstream media is in the death throes, and this is what it sounds like. But I foresee one problem, and it goes like this. So Frankenstein's creature has suffered a few different deaths over the years, since Mary Shelley wrote the classic in 1818. But one of the most iconic is Frankenstein trapped in a windmill in the 1931 classic starring Boris Karloff. You've seen this. Seen the thing. The mob is there to burn.
I was just gonna say that scene looks a lot like how Chicago and Portland look, right? Running around, burning, looting. Just kind of a good correlation between the two.
Yeah. So the mob is there to burn it down, and in my analogy, the windmill is a mainstream media tower. the creature is CNN. But in my version, when the mob arrives to burn it down, oddly, there's another mob there ready to defend the monster. That's kind of...
Well, I thought that CNN was the excrement coming out of the ass of the first person killed in the movie.
So as proud members of Parler, we are bringing torches and marshmallows for the after party. But that's where we are. The thing that created the angry mob is Frankenstein's creature.
What I don't understand is why they're so angry at conservatives. I remember when they were boarding up all their businesses in Washington because they were afraid of riots. And then when we didn't win the election, ironically enough, there were no riots. Almost as if it wasn't conservatives doing all the damage.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Frankenstein's creature.
And also, after Biden won, you know what happened?
What?
COVID. COVID's like, you know what? Don't wear masks when you're in your little gathering parties congratulating Biden because I'm not going to bother you because I'm woke.
That's true. This is woke. And the creature was woke. He knew better. Maybe not in the 1931 movie. But if you read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, he reads Milton's Paradise Lost, making him your intellectual better. He could quote, he was very articulate, and still acts like an ass.
We're just gonna name drop all kinds of books today, people.
Yeah, so, in my opinion, it's time to burn this thing down. Come to Parler. It's a big tent if you believe in freedom of speech. So only Victor Frankenstein.
What's the guy's name? The founder of Twitter or the president of Twitter?
Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey, the guy who was just like a pirate the last time I saw him, right? The guy.
Guy being held hostage by the Taliban.
Yeah.
Or joined the Taliban.
Look, if you think that guy cares about anybody out there and their opinions, you're out of your mind. He is definitely doing whatever the left tells him to do to avoid being scolded, I guess.
If you're that rich and you have a beard that looks like that, you're insane. That's basically what it comes down to.
You look ridiculous. Like, if you weren't like auditioning for a play and you were wearing all that nonsense, shame on you. You look stupid.
So, as I said, let's burn this thing down together. To only Victor Frankenstein or Brian Stelter, reliable sources, are in the street jacket screaming, "It's still alive."
Reliable sources. What a douche.
Yeah, shouldn't it be sued for like false advertising?
Reliable sources. Who's it from?
The most trusted name in news.
Man, he's got his little 8-ball. Well, reliable sources. Trump's mean. Trump's mean. I knew it.
Point made.